This is Tony T here from TonySpeaks.com with our free college football pick show, Week 13, Part 3. We're going to do this all in parts here. We'll have 12 games from the Saturday card. We'll have them all done by Friday. For more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you're looking for my best bets, my premium plays, click that link in the description. That'll take to my page here at TonySpeaks.com. So let's go ahead. Let's get this one underway. We begin here with Georgia Southern and Coastal Carolina. Georgia Southern now 6-4 after their 28-20 home defeat to Troy. The Eagles gained 246 yards, 75 rushing for 3.8 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 421 yards to the Trojans with 288 passing yards on 32 attempts. J.C. French here, 17-28 passing for 171 yards with an interception. Coastal Carolina now 5-5, a 31-19 road loss at Marshall. The Chanticleers put up 391 yards, 124 rushing for 3.4 yards a carry. Defensively, they held the Thundering Herd to 244 yards, 35 rushing on 32 attempts. Ethan Vasco, 21-39 passing for 267 yards with a touchdown and pick. Georgia Southern defensive form poor in their past 3 games by allowing 35 points, 5 yards per rush, and 76% completion rate, and allowing also 9.5 yards per pass attempt. The Chanticleers' offensive numbers have been good at home. They're holding opposing quarterbacks to just over 60% completions at home. Georgia Southern 1-5 the spread on the road following a home game. Coastal Carolina 4-1 to the spread. As home favorite pick here will be Coastal Carolina here at -2.5. All right, next up we have UCF and West Virginia. UCF drops here to 4-6, a 35-31 road defeat at Arizona State. The Knights gained 406 yards, 177 rushing for 4.8 yards a carry. On defense, they held the Sun Devils to 260 yards, 99 rushing for 3.1 yards a carry. Down the risk, 24-34 pass for 229 yards and a pick. West Virginia 5-5, a 49-35 home defeat to Baylor. The Mountaineers gained 499 yards, 262 rushing yards for 5.3 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 512 yards to the Bears with 329 passing yards on 36 attempts. Garrett Green, 19-39 passing for 237 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. He rushed for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bad weather could be in the forecast here with rain. UCF has lost 3 straight on the road. They have allowed 35 points or greater in 3 of their 4 Big 12 games. Mountaineers have rushed and been efficient in the passing game at home. They limit Big 12 teams to 3.9 yards per rush. The Mountaineers are only 1 win away from bowl eligibility here. Pick here will be on for West Virginia here, +3. All right, next up we got Colorado and Kansas here for action on Saturday. Colorado 8-2 after their 49-24 home victory to Utah. The Buffs gained 405 yards, 65 rushing for 3.3 yards a carry. On defense, they held the Utes at 272 yards, 31 rushing on 30 carries. Shadar Sanders 30-41 passes for 340 yards with 3 touchdowns and a pick. Kansas 4-6 with their 17-13 road win at BYU. The Jayhawks gained 242 yards, 73 rushing for 2.2 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 354 yards to the Cougars with 162 rushing for 4.8 yards a carry. Jalen Daniels 12-19 passing for 169 yards and a pick. Kansas must win their final 2 games to become bowl eligible. The Buffs have been one-dimensional offensively with the run game being weak. Kansas offensively in their past 3 games put up 3 points per game behind an efficient passing game that averages 9.1 yards per pass attempt. The Jayhawks have covered 4 straight. They've come off back-to-back home wins to Iowa State and Houston, averaging 43 points per game. Pick here will be on Kansas State, +2.5. All right, next up we got Tulsa and USF here. Tulsa 3-7 after their 38-31 home defeat to East Carolina. The Golden Hurricane gained 399 yards, 106 rushed for 2.9 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 536 yards to the Pirates with 314 passing on 37 attempts. Cooper Legas, 20 of 32 passing for 293 yards with 3 touchdowns and a pick. USF now 5-5, a 59-24 road win at Charlotte. The Bulls gained 551 yards, 425 rushing for 8.9 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 347 yards to the 49ers, with 91 rushing for 2.6 yards a carry. Byron Brown has missed 5 straight games due to injury. Practiced this week. Bryce Archie played through an injury and victory. Third stringer Israel Carter took some snaps last week, rushed for three times. He's thrown just one pass in 2 seasons. Tulsa's defense in horrible form over their past 3 games, allowing 47 points a game. USF offensive form good in this period as they're averaging 37 points per game with 7 yards per rush. Their pass defense has been strong in this 3-game span, allowing 49% completion rate. The Golden Hurricane 1-6 to the spread on the road against the AAC. Pick here will be USF minus 17.5. All right, next up we got Wisconsin and Nebraska here for Saturday's game. Wisconsin here, they drop here to 5-5 after their 16-13 home defeat to Oregon. The Badgers gained 226 yards, 130 rushing for 3.8 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 344 yards to the Ducks with 136 rushing for 3.4 yards a carry. Braden Locke here, 12 of 28 passing for 96 yards with a touchdown and pick. Nebraska moved to 5-5 with their 28-20 road defeat to USC. The Cornhuskers put up 310 yards, 119 rushing for 4.8 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 441 yards to the Trojans, 182 rushing for 5.7 yards a carry. Dylan Raiola, 27-38 passes for 191 yards with a touchdown and 2 picks. The Badgers' defense in poor form in their past 3 games by allowing 29 points along with 4.9 yards per rush, 75% completion rate. The Cornhuskers in this period have been poor in defending the pass by allowing 72% completions, 9.2 yards per pass attempt. Wisconsin 4-1, the over as a runner dog. Pick here will be Wisconsin, Nebraska over the total of 42.5. All right, we got next up here Penn State and Minnesota here. Penn State now 9-1 with their 49-10 road win at Purdue. The Nittany Lions gained 539 yards, 234 rushing for 6.9 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 302 yards to the Boilermakers with 85 rushing for 3 yards per carry. Drew Lar here, 17-19 passes for 247 yards with 3 touchdowns. Minnesota 6-4 with their 26-19 road defeat at Rutgers. The Golden Gophers gained 297 yards with 35 rushing for 1.8 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 349 yards to the Scarlet Knights with 109 rushing for 2.9 yards a carry. Max Brosmer, 27-45 passing for 260 yards and a touchdown. Minnesota has defended well at home, holding opponents to 15 points per game. They're strong pass defenders at home where they've been efficient offensively in the passing game. Golden Gophers have covered 8 of 10. Pick here in Minnesota, plus 11.5. All right, next up we have Northwestern and Michigan. Northwestern 4-6 after their 31-7 home defeat to Ohio State. The Wildcats gained 251 yards, 50 rushing for 1.7 yards a carry. On defense, they surrendered 420 yards to the Buckeyes with 247 passing yards on 24 attempts. Jack Lausch, 21-35 passing for 201 yards. He rushed for a touchdown in the game. Michigan drops to 5-5, a 20-15 road defeat in Indiana. The Wolverines put up 206 yards, 59 rushing for 1 yards per rush. Defensively, they allowed 246 yards to the Hoosiers with 40 rushing yards on 28 carries. Davis Warren, 16 of 32 passing for 137 yards. Northwestern's offense has been very poor in their road games. They rushed for 3.5 yards a carry, 5.8 yards per pass attempt. The Wildcats' defense is wearing down over their past 3 games, allowing 30 points per game, 4.5 yards per rush. Michigan has run effectively in conference and defend well. They are 5-1 of the spread at home following a road game. Pick here will be Michigan minus 10.5. All All right, we got San Diego State and Utah State for Saturday's game. San Diego State 3-7 after their 41-20 road defeat to UNLV. The Aztecs gained 270 yards, 107 rushing for 3.1 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 513 yards to the Rebels, with 253 rushing yards for 5.4 yards a carry. Daniel O'Neal, 13-22 passing for 162 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. He had a rushing touchdown in the game. Utah State 3-7 with their 55-10 home win to Hawaii. The Aggies posted 580 yards, 321 rush for 7.4 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 309 yards to the Warriors with 262 passing yards on 36 attempts. Spencer Petras, 20 of 30 passing for 255 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. In conference, the Aggies have defended poorly, surrendering 39 points per game. Opponents rushed for 5.7 yards a carry against them in the Mountain West, along with 8.7 yards per pass attempt. The Aggies have failed to cover 5 of 7. The Aztecs have covered 8 of 11 against the Mountain West on the road. Pick here at San Diego State, plus the 4. All right, we got BYU and Arizona. BYU now 9-1 after their 17-13 home defeat to Kansas. The Cougars put up 354 yards with 162 rushing for 8.1 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 242 yards to Jayhawks with 73 rushing yards for 2.2 yards a carry. Jake Razlaf, 18-28 passing for 192 yards with a touchdown and a pick. Arizona State now 8-2, a 24-14 road win at Kansas State. The Sun Devils put up 398 yards, 123 rushing for 3.2 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 412 yards to the Wildcats with 153 rushing for 6.2 yards a carry. Sam Levitt, 21-34 passing for 275 yards with 3 touchdowns. He rushed for 42 yards in the game. The Cougars' defense has been outstanding on the road, holding teams to 20 points per game with 3.8 yards per rush, only 51% completions allowed. They put up 32 points per game against the Big 12, behind 4.9 yards a carry, and very efficient quarterback play. ASU defense in their past 3 games, allowing 4.8 yards per rush. Pick here BYU at plus 3. All right, we got Stanford in California. The big game here for Saturday. Stanford improved here to 3-7, 38-35 home victory to Louisville. The Cardinal gained 416 yards, 83 rushing for 2.2 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 412 yards to the Cardinals with 162 rushing yards for 6.2 yards a carry. Ashton Daniels, 22 of 33 passing for 298 yards with 3 touchdowns and a pick. Cal now 5-5, a 33-25 home defeat to Syracuse. The Golden Bears put up 391 yards, 166 rushing for 7.2 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 471 yards to the Orange with 323 passing yards on 46 attempts. Fernando Mendoza, 22 of 34 passing for 225 yards with a touchdown and 2 picks. Stanford has been very poor in their road games, allowing 43 points with 5.4 yards per rush, 272 yards passing, 8.9 yards per pass attempt. Golden Bears have run for 4.5 yards a carry, an efficient passing game as well. We're looking here at Stanford 2-6 as the spread on the road, facing teams that average 250 yards passing per game or greater. Golden Bears 3-1 the spread at home against poor defensive teams, allowing 5.9 yards per play or greater. Pick here will be on Cal, minus 14. All right, next up we got Kentucky and Texas. Kentucky now 4-6 after their 48-6 home win to Murray State, an FCS school. Now prior to that FBS opponent in Tennessee, they lose 28-18. Wildcats in that game gained 360 yards, 168 rushing for 4.5 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 477 yards to the Volunteers with 292 passing yards on 38 attempts. Brock Vandegrift, 12 of 19 passing for 183 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. Texas 9-1, a 20-10 road win at Arkansas. The Longhorns posted 316 yards, 139 rushing for 3.4 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 231 yards to the Razorbacks, 82 rushing for 2.4 yards a carry. Quinn Ewers, 20 of 32 passing for 176 yards with 2 touchdowns. Kentucky offense has performed poorly in their road games as they rush for 3.4 yards a carry and complete half their passes. On the road, they surrendered 31 points per game with 10.4 yards per pass attempt. Longhorns offense and defense has put up great numbers as they outscored opponents by 31. They are 4-1 in the spread at home when they're favored by 10.5 to 21 points. Pick here, Texas, minus 20.5. All right, Texas Tech and Oklahoma State college football pick Saturday. All right, Texas Tech 6-4 with their 41-27 home defeat to Colorado. The Red Raiders put up 388 yards, 113 rushing for 2.5 yards a carry. Behrin Morton 24-40 pass for 275 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. Oklahoma State now 3-7, a 38-13 road defeat to TCU. The Cowboys gained 368 yards, 135 rushing for 3.8 yards a carry. Pennsylvania, they allowed 468 yards to the Horned Frogs with 293 passing yards on 37 attempts. Alan Bowman, 19-29 passing for 141 yards with a touchdown and pick. The Red Raiders in their past 3 games allowing 33 points per game with 311 yards passing for 8.2 yards per pass attempt. Oklahoma State defense in poor form in this period, allowing 39 points per game with 6.5 yards per rush and 9.5 yards per pass attempt. The Cowboys 4-2 the over at home, facing teams that average 425 yards per game or greater. Pick here will be Texas Tech and Oklahoma State here at over 67. For more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our service. And if you're looking for my best bet, my premium plays, click that link in the description. That'll take you to my page here at TonySpeaks.com. And if you like this video, give us a like, a thumbs up. You really help this channel. I'm Tony T. We'll talk to you later.